And good Tuesday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray as we start the day together. Right now, light rain 71 throughout the area. We'll get to a high only about 79. Now, thunderstorms are expected today. Let's talk about that a little bit of what's coming, and then we'll do your full forecast in just a little bit. But already showing light rain in the area this morning as we begin this day. Let's pull it up so you can see Meridian Honda radar as we start out today. And here we go. This is a quick glimpse of what we've got here in the eastern side of Mississippi and the edge of Alabama. More stronger storms out to our west. As I've been reading upon this, as this nears and crosses over 55 is when the potential for it to get a little bit worse, east of 55. After it crosses that, we could see that. Now, is this a potential for just the biggest storm we've ever seen? Absolutely not. We could see some severe weather, though. Let's look at this of what is projected. This is the area of a level 2 today. Takes in most of Mississippi from just south of Hattiesburg to the coast. It won't be included in it. That'll be a level 1. But the rest of the area, a level 2. Strong winds, we'll get into all of that, 30 to 35 mile an hour gust. When the storms roll through with inside the storm, it could be 60 to 65. Now, most likely, this will be a little after lunch, 12:30-ish, 1-ish, and should be over by 3. Now, it is Mother Nature. It has sometimes a mind of its own and can change those times. That's what we're looking at right now. I'll keep you abreast of the situation. We'll be all over it and go live when it becomes necessary. But we'll give you the latest as it comes about of everything that's going on. But be weather alert today. Don't just disregard it as, it's nothing, because this could turn into something. There is potential for tornadoes with this. Now, I don't have a report from the National Weather Service saying that, yes, this is one of the worst days we'll have major outbreaks. But it is the potential, which means it can happen. It doesn't matter if it happens everywhere. If it happens within a block of your home, it matters. So we'll be here to watch that all throughout the day to make sure the coast is clear once it passes. So we're beginning today. I do hope you're having a wonderful one as it starts out. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as the old saying goes there. Let's check in with Brother Ben and the good folks out in Collinsville this morning for a good word to start the day.
Have you ever heard somebody say, I don't get mad, I get even? You see, inside the fallen human heart is this intense desire to retaliate and get somebody back when we've been wronged. You might even quote the Bible and say, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But revenge doesn't make the situation better. It doesn't even make you feel better. Somebody once said, revenge is always sweet, but its aftertaste is bitter. No, instead of getting even, Jesus says one way to make the situation better is to shame them with non-retaliation and kindness. If someone slaps your right cheek, he said, turn to them your left cheek. If someone takes your shirt in court, give them your coat as well. If somebody coerces you to go a mile, go 2 miles. You see, your refusal to retaliate along with showing them kindness will heap up shame on their head and will bring about the change you desire. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Always a good message from Brother Ben. Hope you can get to see him one day in person. Just as good there. Always good to have a good message to start our day. Well, we got folks from all over today. Chop Barham watching us from Beaumont, Texas. How are y'all there? Houston, Texas, Barry Van Devener. We've got Corrine Hearn. She's watching today from Mexico. How are you doing? Houston, also, as we mentioned, Barry Van Devener watching us there from Houston, Texas, out in that area. And this may be the furthest. And, Bruno, I can't pronounce your last name, but it says you're watching from Brazil today. That's a little piece off there. Be safe where you are today. Again, light rain on the roads this morning as you begin. Always remember tapping on your brakes makes the road a little bit slick. We'll be talking about wrecks all day if we're not a little bit careful. So be on the lookout for all that as we start this wonderful day and begin Tuesday. Headlines as we roll into today. We did have one person. Let's pull this up so you can get a good look of what went on here. Whoa, what is it? One person shot in the toe. That's what happened there. Now, as we zoom in on this, here's Northwood Country Club area. Just be west of there as we get over to the 3000 block of 27th Avenue. Matter of fact, someone noticed someone laying in front of their house and called the police. They refused to be taken to the hospital, thought they'd be okay. And somebody did make the comment, and I have to admit it brought a chuckle to my face if you ever watched Harlem Nights with, what was it, Della Reese and Eddie Murphy, where he shot her big toe. Did kind of remind me of that. It's been a long time ago that I saw that, but it brought back a smile on that. But Refuse Metro, no one seriously hurt. If you don't go to the hospital, you're right. We did also have gunshots last night, 17th Avenue area. As we pull this up in the Meridian area, that's where it was. No damage reported on this. 17th Avenue and 15th Street is where this happened. Let's zoom in on this. This is where you'll see it. Here's 16th. Here's Anderson's Hospital. It's just to the east of there and north of Ochsner Rush is where all of that happened last night. If you're going down 14th Street, it would be just to your right if you're going toward the hospitals to give you a relationship of where that happened. As we move along with this is big news for our area for a school to be shut down due to the flu. I didn't know we had such a case of this. As we pull up the letter this morning that Enterprise School District put out, they're going to be closed today and tomorrow and doing virtual learning for the children because there was such an outbreak of people with the flu, and they're trying to nip that in the bud, so to speak. If there's more updates with this, we'll pass that along to you. In-person learning will return on Thursday there for Enterprise School District. Be careful. Always wash your hands. And a lot of this has to do with, for the last 2 to 3 years, no one's been exposed to anything, basically to ourselves, and you're not immune to things anymore. And you catch colds a little bit quicker. There's fact to that, and I think we all know that. As we look around, Marion going to have a town hall meeting on Thursday, the 27th. And the topic is going to be about your garbage rates and water rates, all of that. It's going to be held at the Homasa Shriners right there in Marion. So if you want to go by and listen to this, it lasts about an hour, 6 to 7, if you'd like to know more about this. And let me blow this up where you can see this. There it is. Larry Gill is going to be there, the mayor, talking all about this. Hope you can make it out. If you live in the area, you definitely want to be a part of that to know what's happening. Good to know that. We did have a small gas leak yesterday. It would be the 20th Street area right around State Boulevard. A line was struck. Emergency officials came out, Atmos, to fix that little leak there. If you were in the area and wanted to know what all the hoopla was about, that's what was going on yesterday. Repaired and everything back to normal now. So are you one of these? I guess I have turned into this the last few years as Angie goes and buys it, and I'll take pictures of them. Your pets, Halloween, do you dress them up? I have to say this was funny. Alicia Bailey did a great job of dressing her cat. We've got Don and then one in curlers. Thought it was kind of cute there. Oh, boy, the things you do for animals. It does happen, doesn't it? Let's see what else. Don't forget, this will happen today at Aldersgate. They're going to have their get-together, their 60th anniversary celebration today. Emily White and many others, Tommy Duncan, Timmy Spears will be out singing today, and also Hannah Waitley. They will be there to bring all this in. Hope you can make it by as they celebrate this. Good place, good foundation. Nice folks there. I've known them for a long time. Let's see, as we start looking, this is a pretty big deal, as we see that Jackson State getting ready to host ESPN's College Day for the first time. Pretty big deal for them. Congratulations on that. Dion doing a fantastic job for them. As we go to Laurel, we find out that 2 people have been killed, 1 injured. It was at a laundromat. 2 people in a car were shot. More details on this still to come as it's investigating. I've heard all types of different stories behind this, but we do know that 2 people are dead as the investigation continues. A white male was seen leaving the scene wearing a red hoodie. Hopefully an arrest will be made. This is tragic. I don't know any other way to word this. We ask that everyone send their thoughts and prayers to Chickasaw County as a young man went missing a couple of days before his birthday. That was found as we go to our friends at Dark Horse, or they were reporting this morning as he's been found. He was involved in a car wreck, and the car was not easily found. This is the young man. Would have been 22. He was actually found on his birthday. It took them a couple of days to find the car as he had gone off in a wooded area and it wasn't visible. He was killed in the wreck. How sad that is. A lot of parents and brothers and sisters, I'm sure, at this point upset over that. We go to Madison, a daycare worker being sentenced to 2 years in jail. Actually, they were given 10 years. 8 of those waived. She'll spend 2 years in jail as a parent noticed that a child had a mark from the top across the eye. as video surveillance would turn out the child was struck while it was napping. I don't even know what to say about that. Mississippi is where it happened. She'll spend 2 years in jail now. Powerball still climbing if you're into lotteries and you feel lucky today. It could be your day there. As we look at cases that go before the Attorney General, the family was upset, and you have to put yourself in the family. You can understand someone being upset, but you also have to put yourself in the shoes of a police officer. As the Attorney General finds a police officer did no wrong when they responded to a call of a mentally ill man. They'd been called to the scene in Forest County is where this happened. They wanted him taken somewhere. He come after the police with a hammer. They returned with fire, and he was killed at the scene. This was back in July. The police officer has been cleared of all wrongdoing after the investigation was held by MBI. Condolences to the family, but you also truly, truly got to understand what a police officer goes through. Lethal force is part of the job. Starkville police, as we always keep up with what goes on in Starkville, too many people have children that go to school in those areas from here. As we all know, an apartment complex shooting happened, just so you'll know, with Sandhill Arms Apartment. If you know where your child lives, you can get the relation of that. We'll start showing maps up there because kind of important. I don't have one pulled up right now, but one person was injured. Always some gunplay somewhere. But it's good to know from Ole Miss to Southern to Starkville what's going on. We do see that one person was killed in Natchez this week, a car wreck. A 68-year-old lady had a car wreck. She hit a concrete wall. They're thinking at this point her injury, her death is not due to the wreck, but a medical problem that happened and then she wrecked. Condolences to the family on that. Part of things that do happen every day. As we move to some national stories this morning, and again, not a lot. It's been, we have to point out locally, we haven't had a lot of big things happen lately. Thank heavens. I do want to point this out. As I was coming back yesterday, I had to run a few places in town. Let me show you this. I don't know if everybody has seen this yet. We've got this posted on the page. This was the scene here. You see that? The fire department on the scene here. That was right across from the country store. Pine Springs, State Boulevard extension there, and car caught fire. Talked to the gentleman, bless his heart, pulled up to the stop sign. He had no idea that his car was on fire, and a lady flagged him down, saw smoke from underneath his car, and the next thing you know, this is what happened. A complete, total loss yesterday. If you haven't watched the whole video, I spoke to him during that and interviewed him. It can happen just like that. And as he pointed out, the sad news is it just filled up his car. But it can. Now, what causes stuff like that, I don't know. But something sparked underneath and caused the vehicle to catch fire. I believe that was an Explorer, if I'm not mistaken, of some form. I don't know the exact year of that, but it can happen. Y'all be careful. You smell something, check it out. As I said, let's look at some national stories now. It's things I was not aware of this until about an hour ago. Megyn Kelly, I think we all know her. She was on Fox News for so many years. Then she moved over to NBC. That flopped, and now she started her own. She's got her own little news thing, kind of like what I do. Hers is on a much larger scale, by all means. But condolences to Kelly as we found out that her sister, who is 58 years old, has passed away from a heart attack. She said that her sister had not been feeling well the last couple of years and then had a heart attack unexpectedly yesterday. Again, condolences to her family. America's Got Talent. Anybody watch that? One of the finalists has passed away, and if I pronounce his name correctly, Zuri Craig, 44 years old, has died at 44. Wow, that's young. Very young there. We also found out yesterday, you remember the little funny guy? He was on Will and Grace. Has passed away at the age of 67. Leslie Jordan. He was funny, without a doubt. The thing that sticks out in my mind was one of those episodes of Reba that he was on where he wanted to date her. Hilarious little guy there. He had a wreck also yesterday and was pronounced dead. Tragedy. Now, this should, as we go into this, do I know every part of this new law that's going to go into effect? I don't know it. I know enough to know that it's not good. Illinois, and so we're talking Chicago, these areas due north of here. And what happens and I guess we'll call them woke states. Is that the word I'm looking for? Woke, possibly liberal states across the United States. There's without a doubt a line has been drawn to where one part of the country thinks this way and the rest thinks this way. Let me clarify myself of what has just happened. This will take effect in January, a new law that is passed. And the Illinois Safety, Accountability, Fairness, and Equity is what it's called. It changes multiple parts of Illinois' justice system, which provisions like ending cash bail, limiting how flights determine whether defendants are flight risk, and allows defendants under electronic monitoring to leave home for 48 hours before they can be charged with escape. So basically saying they can do what they want for 2 days. This is going to be a huge issue. Laws now are being made to where it gives the criminals the advantage and not the police and society. What happens when all of this tumbles down? What is going to be? I'm at a loss for words on this. This is major. I know that's just words, but when you start breaking that down of what attorneys can do for those who have broke the law, that's big. They'll get rid of bail. They'll be back on the street just like that. You won't even have to look for them for 48 hours there should they be on an ankle monitor. We've got trouble coming, and I see it written on the wall. I am completely worried about that. Let's hope that nothing ever happens here, but it does affect you because, well, you have to travel other parts of the United States. And usually what happens other places, pressure, other lawmakers eventually give in. Let's hope our lawmakers don't. This is just tragic. I've never been to New York. Maybe a lot of you have. I've never had the opportunity, and I'm not sure I want to go now, but years ago I would have loved to have gone to see the Statue of Liberty and seen part of our world. How sad this is. I've never been on a subway. Anybody ever ridden one? I've been on the tram at Houston. I guess it's kind of similar to that. But a gentleman that was 20 years old was getting off of the subway. His backpack got hung in the door that closed, and he was drugged to his death. I don't know where to even go with that. The tragedy that deals with that as we look at stories that happen. Awful, awful, awful. Have you been paying attention to this? The guy that did the parade killing last year at Christmas, Waukesha, y'all remember that? He's been kicked out of the court again for interrupting the judge. He's representing himself. It's awful, just downright awful. I've watched tidbits of it. He keeps referring to himself as a third person, as if he's not the person on trial. And, of course, all that most likely is a gimmick to make it look as though he's not guilty of anything, that he couldn't have done it. I don't think this is going to work with this judge. That's what it looks like. That's a quick look at some headlines this morning of what's bracing our nation. We're going to get deeper into this forecast here in a moment, so you'll know exactly what's coming, what the National Weather Service is telling us. And again, we'll go live at any point today. I want you to be aware of that. Follow us Facebook. You can also follow us on YouTube. I put up a link yesterday. Look at several of those. You can click on it and follow us on YouTube as well. Be able to watch there live when we go to tell you what's going on. We're going to check that forecast next. Don't rush off. We'll teach you something, or we'll all learn something together about the weather.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
Rock House Gun and Pawn is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Lots of different calibers and brands to choose from when it comes to hunting rifles. Whether you're looking for a new pump shotgun or an AR, the Rock House will have the gun that you need, with a huge selection of ammunition for just about any caliber that you may be looking for. Pistols, scopes, and a whole lot more. Plus a private lobby for your confidentiality when it comes to your pawns. Rock House Gun and Pawn, located at 5430 Highway 19 North Meridian. As we go to radar in just a moment, as the National Weather Service kind of gives us a heads up of what's going on today. Severe thunderstorms are possible. A cold front is going to move across this morning. That's going to bring some strong thunderstorms that could produce 60-mile-an-hour winds within the storms. Now, as we get this, gusts will occur outside of the thunderstorms, which y'all will start seeing it out there, the trees blowing a little bit. And this will be anywhere from 30 to 35-mile-an-hour gusts on a normal basis without the storm. So we've got a lot of that, which means likely you could experience some form of a power loss today if a limb hits a pole near you. We'll watch all of that also throughout the day as we look at this. Now, this should be happening later in the afternoon as we watch this closely. Let's go on to radar, see where the rain is at this point, where it is, and what to expect. As we looked at this just a moment ago, as we pulled this up to look at the threat area, and this goes from Vicksburg down to Hattiesburg, all the due north through Jackson, Tennessee, as we take in most of Nashville on the west side of Nashville. Right up here is where it will go all the way to Hardin, Kentucky. And we'll go back east and follow this along to Anniston, Alabama, over to Montgomery, and then back to Mississippi is what we're expecting today of this severe weather. Now let's look at what we've got already and turn this off so you can see where the storms are at this point. Now, this is not near as ferocious as it looked yesterday, last night. We had tornado warnings in Texas, but this will most likely build a little bit later today. It's going to be kind of calm here once it reaches Mississippi and gets past I-55 right along in here. When it moves east of here is when this will most likely become a little bit more of a threat to us. We'll watch it closely as this afternoon moves on. And again, as I said, that timeline, somewhere anywhere from 12 to 3. We're hoping it's out of here by 3 o'clock. Nothing serious. We'll still have some light showers after 3, but the severity should be out by then. It can slow down. It can speed up. It's Mother Nature. Let's zoom in on this a little bit closer here and see what we've got. So in showers this morning around Pachuta, we got a little bit there just to the west of Quitman, just west of the Co-op, back this way. Oh, of course, right there at Pleasant Hill there on 512. We got showers all the way up to Longs and the Piggly Wiggly. As we get out near Dunn's Fall, right out to Stuckey's Bridge, some light showers. A little bit over here as we see here in the Long Creek area, out by the Girl Scouts. Y'all got a little damp stuff going on also. By Russell Christian Academy, some light showers. East across there, Rainbow Lakes, on into Alabama, to Cuba, out to McElroy, Trucking. We go north as we go up 45 here. We got showers following Highway 45 back to the Cowboy Church, over to light showers there at Scuba. Nothing too serious, but it is some showers there. If you've got to leave there, go toward Macon and hang a left there. You're going to be in light showers all the way to Macon before you turn west. Some light showers here is what we've got on the eastern side of Neshoba County. Nothing horrible. And a little bit coming up on Battlefield. So if you travel 19, and the big thing with what we've got right now is nothing serious, but you have to drive a little bit slower. That old damp gets that old oil, and it's been so hot, and we hadn't had any rain and quite sometimes makes it a mess there. James says a little shower going on in Causeyville right now. I'll be careful out there and watch that. All right, let's get deeper into the forecast of what the National Weather Service tells us for today.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Yeah, I didn't hit a button, did I? I've got to hit one more button here so I can have this up where everybody can view this. Sometimes forget to do that, and well, today is one of those. Look at our record highs, our record lows. This is what we have. Back in 16, it was a warm 87 today. Back in 65, before I came along, it was 29 degrees. A cool day, wasn't it? I'm sure a lot of you remember that. This is the forecast for today throughout Meridian. 79. If you'll look here, the heavier rain right in our area here, all the way back over to Vicksburg, up through Columbus, Stark, Vegas, severe. Look at that. As you'll see here, showing it Newton County coming across here. We're going to have that. Breezy throughout the day, 75 in Yazoo, 75 in Vicksburg. Warmer down in Hattiesburg. As we look at what's happening in the edge of Alabama, you've got it also. This line of showers is going to affect Livingston, Alabama, Epps, Gainesville, all the way to Birmingham, over to Clanton. Y'all be prepared and watch this. Now, as we look back, this is what the severe storms looks like. The west side of the state going on through about 8 a.m. right over in here. And this is, as I mentioned, not going to be as bad over by Vicksburg. It's after you cross this line right here, 55. It's going to worsen a little bit as it moves across the state. Not saying that it can't be bad at Yazoo, but when it starts getting near I-55 is when the intensity will pick up and move across. The Meridian area, and this will be 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. is what the window they're putting on this in case it speeds up. We look at the winds. It's going to be strong today. And basically north of I-20 is what I've read will be worse. So Clark County, you're going to have some storms, but from Newton forward, Meridian forward up through Kemper and Philadelphia, Louisville up to Columbus, Stark Vegas, these areas will have a potential for being a little bit worse in those areas than it is south of I-20. So maybe that's a good news for you. If you live in those areas, watch it. As we look at the edge of Alabama, what's happening there, we see that the timeline goes until noon until 5 for our friends over to Demopolis, Tuscaloosa, right up to the edge of Birmingham. And then east of Birmingham, it'll be 3 to 8 p.m. And then that far eastern portion over by Auburn, if you're watching in that area, 6 till 11 p.m. will be the time that you should watch. It'll get real intense here at this Mississippi-Alabama line is where I expect it to be the worst as it comes across. Looking at temperatures over the next 10 days, let's pull this up and see what we've got. A little bit warmer right now, as we're warm this morning. It's 70 when we woke up. This cool front's going to mix with all this and cause these storms today. Normal temperatures still out to our west. Now, this is our 7-day forecast. Look at the difference in between today and tomorrow. 10 degrees difference. 79 today with that 90% chance of showers. Tomorrow rolls in with 69, kind of perfect weather. 0% chance of rain as we move into Thursday. 72 in the weekend, absolutely gorgeous. Friday, 74. Slight chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday, coming in at 40%. That's not huge at all. As we go to Monday, the rain is out, and we move all the way through the 8th of November. Won't be long before we have the Veterans Day parade, will it? We're keeping a couple of days there in the upper 70s, but we get back down to the 69, 70-degree mark there by the 7th and 8th of November. Perfect weather. You can't beat that at all. I like that upper. When we get into the days of it's 40 for the high, that it kind of bothers me. I'm sure you feel the same as I do on things of that nature. Let's look at what's happening with the tropics this morning. Little disturbances out here. Now, this won't affect the Gulf of Mexico at all, but we watch the Atlantic with 70% chance of this forming. We got another one that's about 30% chance, and this is 5 days out from now. Something to watch and pay attention to. Chances run through November the 1st of happening with storms of that nature. Now, what's happening with fishing? Let's go over to Chet's Paint and Body, where they're talking fishing today. Looks like we'll have a good chance today from 8 till 9 a.m. Before the rain comes in, the fish are biting. Now, again, the wind's going to be south-southwest, 10 to 20. This could bump to 20. We'll get gusts of 30 today. Just keep that in mind. It's going to be breezy no matter what you do out there today, so be extra careful. Roy Ellis, how are you today there? Raining in Sue and Lovey. Junior, be careful down there. I was looking up here to Lonnie, thank you for the compliment there on the weather. Appreciate that. Lance and everybody else doesn't have any questions that I see jumping out. And again, we will be here throughout the day behind the scenes monitoring this. Should something fire off or look like it's going to be bad, we'll go live to let you know about it. Ways to follow here at Facebook as you're watching. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube this morning. Subscribe, like, do all of that, and you'll be notified when we go live on YouTube as well. A great way to watch if you haven't ever joined us there. So we're coming up on 6:58. We'll be back live in 1 hour. Candace will join me. We'll get into the morning show, tell you all the news is happening locally, nationally, and a little bit more about weather as this day begins. Thank y'all so much for being a part of what happens right here in the area. Thank you so much. We'll be back with the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: